Rotarians and guests. A couple weeks ago they had a meet the officers up at the Huber, and it wasn't real well attended. And Sheriff Engel spoke a lot on the 911 levy that's coming up, and issued one that's going to be on the state ballot. And since my program was unable to come today, they have filled in for me, and we have Matt Handelcraft, who is the 911 director, and then Sheriff Duggan who will do the speaking, I think.
Good morning. Once again, it's great to be up here with the Rotarians in Hicksville. Thank you for this opportunity. We have two ballot issues that are coming up November 6th. Two very, very important ballot issues to Northwest Ohio. We'll talk first about issue 1. Now, issue 1's kind of slid under the radar, and nobody really understands what's going on. It's a constitutional amendment that some folks with big money from California have presented and placed on our ballot system in Ohio. They want to change Ohio law. They don't even live here, number 1. Number 2, it's a constitutional amendment. If this passes, it will take a lot of time and money to get it removed. What it basically is, and it's going to damage Northwest Ohio and the entire state, the 88 counties in Ohio. If this would pass, what happens is the drug culture as we know it is going to expand. Meaning that they are attempting to allow all changes in our drug laws. So any possession, any use of any controlled drug will now be considered a misdemeanor. So all of our felony drugs charges, all of our felony counts, anything from prescription medicine to fentanyl, carfentanil that people are overdosing and dying on with the heroin, any possession of any amount becomes a misdemeanor crime. Part of the issue with that is again, there's no accountability. We lose that accountability. For the first time in my 36-year career, I've never seen the Supreme Court of Ohio come out against an issue in the state of Ohio. The Supreme Court of Ohio has stepped up to the plate on this one and saying, it's bad law, we cannot allow this to happen. They are opposing this, as every law enforcement, every prosecutors in the 88 counties are opposing it. The other problem with this issue 1, it will release current people who are being placed in prison, in our prison population, to the tune of about 10,000 individuals of our 55,000 that are locked up in Ohio prisons. They will automatically be reduced sentences and be released. The reduction level is almost 25% of the population of our prison system is what they were talking about. Will have a reduced sentence. Some will be released, others will have their sentences basically disappear. It will not allow the judges to make and have the discretion on a sentence. So again, it's not good for Ohio. Our jails are already overfull because of other state legislation reforms and the reformatory reform bills that are pushing some drug offenders back into our local systems. Our TCAP program has moved a lot of people, felony 5s, back into our local jails. And unless they commit multiple offenses, we can't push them to prison. It's very difficult. So again, when we talk about issue 1, it has nothing but bad economics, bad everything for the state of Ohio, and especially to us locally in Northwest Ohio. So from the Sheriff's Office standpoint, from law enforcement standpoint, from the court's standpoint, please vote no on issue 1. It's just not a good thing. Those that love to carry firearms, those people coming out of prison, and several of the felons, convicted felons, will be allowed to obtain firearms legally if this passes. So again, please read up on it. You're going to be seeing a lot of press coverage. The proponents for this have $4.5 million that they are spending in advertising and whatnot to get this passed. Unfortunately, in the state of Ohio, how election law is, we cannot, law enforcement, judges, we cannot put money into an opposition campaign. It has to be a grassroots campaign for us to go out and talk about this. So again, we will be publicizing some things in the local papers and whatnot, through editorials and letters to the editor. I believe there's been a couple in already, which I do appreciate. So again, as always, we ask you to research before you go into the ballot box. Research, know what you're voting on, and from our perspective, this one's no good. On the other situation that we need to talk about is the 911 levy. It is a local levy in Defiance County. And to explain that a little bit, it's when we talk about the mechanism and how it came about, the 1.1%, or excuse me, 1 mil levy renewal with a 4/10 increase. Now, if you understand math and a lot of the millage and stuff, it really does get sometimes confusing. The 1 mil renewal is our current millage that we have that is being collected at 8/10 of a mil. That will continue. It will only be collected as at 8/10. Now, with that being said, then the 0.4 additional monies will also be collected along with that, with this passage. So relatively speaking, we will collect 1.2 mil starting in 2020. Okay? So again, there's some confusion about what we will really collect. What does that mean for you as a homeowner and a taxpayer? It means, in the sheriff's office, obviously, all the guys went to the auditor's website. We put our addresses in there, and I can tell you that the average is between $10 and $14 a year increase to continue the services of the 911 center. Now, people ask, why are you going to do this? Why is there a need for this increase of this levy? Well, it's important to understand that with technology there comes costs. Every time that technology improves and we have to upgrade our systems, there's a cost to that, and the price basically of doing business is going up. How I equate it, and sometimes try to explain this, is remember the first cell phone you ever purchased for about $50 or $100. It may have been the bag phone. Now look around the table. What are you carrying? What are your grandkids carrying? What is the nation really carrying? They're carrying a mini computer now. Not a phone, not the old rotary dial cell phones that we started with many, many years ago that were mounted in the cars. Okay, the technology has improved. But again, what is the cost of that bag phone for $100? Now you're looking at an iPhone 10 at $700, $800, $900. And again, when we talk about technology, we have to keep up with it. As things are changing, as your cell phone is changing, and the technology in that, we on our side also have to be able to receive information from that. In other words, we're in the process of working towards text to 911, where people will be able to actually text into the 911 center. And that is a cost. There's a cost to that. But the state is mandating that we go to that. Some other state mandates are mandatory training, which I am all for because it will put all communications officers excuse me, at the same level throughout the 88 counties in Ohio. It's very important that we do that. We bring the educational levels up, the skill levels. so that they are responding to these calls. Yes, I understand that there are people who are on fixed incomes. I have spoken to many, many individuals who are on that. I truly understand. It is very important that you go to the auditor's website and you look at that and understand what it will cost you. Is $14 a year okay? And truthfully, without this levy passing, we have no other means that I am aware of funding the 911 center. So what we have enjoyed for many, many years, and Otto, I know you were part of setting up the 911 center, and thank you, because the vision of that to where we are today has vastly improved. We can now pinpoint within reason, correct me Matt, where a cell phone is at when it is calling 911. A lot of times all we get is a 911. Some funny stories though. Please, if you have your old cell phones, remove the batteries, because even though it's shut off, if your grandchildren hit 911, it'll work if that battery has power. Okay? And we go to a lot of 911 hang-up calls from grandkids playing with grandma and grandpa's phones. Okay? And my wife we just had not that experience, fortunately, because she handed out old phones she found in a drawer to the kids that she does daycare for, and I'm saying, whoa, 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 pull the batteries out. And she said, I never knew that. So please understand that works. It still works for 911, and it's a locator on that we go to. So again, we need your help. We need your support in this. If you have questions, please ask. Matt will answer them. Okay? So are there any questions on either of the issues or the ballot issues? And I really appreciate you giving me the time to come out and talk to you, because both of these are so important to us to continue the way of life we have.
Doug, on the first issue, to your knowledge, is Cordray or DeWine either one supporting it?
Cordray is saying that he thinks it may be a good thing, and DeWine is 100% along with all law enforcement saying no. It is my understanding. Now, again, I don't want to make a political statement either way. I would ask that you go and research that, but everything that I have read and been sent to me is looked at the fact that supposedly there's going to be money for the people that aren't going to prison, okay, on this bill. They're going to send that money back locally. It'll never happen, folks. If the Department of Rehabilitation has extra money, they're not going to send it back to us. They're not doing that now. Why would they send it to us? And I believe in speaking with some of the local commissioners around Northwest Ohio, there's an unbelievable amount of money that has been removed from local funds to the local level by the state of Ohio. I don't foresee that happening. So that's kind of his position. DeWine is saying it's no good for Ohio. As the sheriff of Defiance County, I'm saying it's no good for Ohio. So thank you. Any other questions? Yeah.
Two questions. One for Matt. How many calls you get in your center in a day?
In a day,
He's been trying to get out of talking.
Yeah, that's what he's got the starnish for. I don't. In a day, the dispatchers roughly enter close to 200 calls a day. And on May 8th of this year, we implemented a new software program. With that new software program, gave us great reporting powers. Since May 8th of 2018, dispatchers in Defiance County, and this is just fire and EMS alone, have dispatched fire departments in Defiance County 1,700 times. So they're busy. Those that came before me in this position were, when Sheriff talked about state mandates, we have to have 2 dispatchers in that room at all times. We've met that for a long time. There's a lot of brick and mortar stuff that we've met. The training was new. We've provided emergency medical dispatch for as long as I've been there, and I started in 2005. So it's some of these other things that we're having to catch up with and play catch up with the technology, just like the sheriff said. If you follow the news, Apple and Google just recently announced a partnership with what's called Rapid SOS. Rapid SOS takes, so when you dial 911 from your cell phone, we're actually triangulating your location using 3 towers. So we can go everywhere from a 10% confidence of where you could be in a 100-mile radius, down to pinpointing it exactly. What Rapid SOS has developed is the ability to take the GPS coordinates directly from your phone and implement that and give that to 911, so we can better locate you in an emergency. Those are the technology changes that we're seeing. Obviously, as the director of 911 for Defiance County, I want that technology for the citizens. I want to be able to do that stuff, and part of that cost is incurred through the levy. This is new technology, this is new stuff, these are new products. It's still, we don't want to be the cutting edge on it, but we don't want to be behind either, and that's what we're doing. So,
I had experience happen when I was in Cal County. Somebody walking down State Route 8, looked at me really, it was dark, snowy, so I called 911. Maybe within 10 seconds, they knew my name, they knew what county road I was doing. I was over by FBI, kind of, and it was an instant, and it was like, wow.
yeah, Indiana's ahead of Ohio in 911. Indiana has what's known as an Emergency Service Information Network, the ESINet. Ohio is hoping to do that by 2020. As of this morning, they just got the draft legislation put together. What does that mean for us in Defiance County? If this current legislation goes forward, there's going to be a substantial increase in cost to Defiance County. We are going to have to connect to Bowling Green University to get information through the ESINet to continue the state funding that we get through the wireless 911 funding. Currently, if you look at your phone bills, your cell phone bills, there's a 25-cent surcharge on them for 911 in the state of Ohio. Then that money is then distributed throughout the counties. Each county gets a set amount each year. Unfortunately, if the plan goes forward as head, there's going to be an extensive increase. The 911 directors of the state of Ohio have actually come together for the first time or asking the legislation to look at this before they go forward and implement this due to the cost of it. 4 counties like Defiance and Williams and Paulding who are going to have to pay for an internet connection all the way back to the University of Bowling Green, and it can't be on a public network, it has to be private because it has to be secure. So things like that, foresight into the future that we're looking at, we have to be prepared for it. So.
The other portion of this is interoperable communication. Again, that is the 911 Center's mission, is to allow interoperable communications for law enforcement and fire services, all personnel. We are currently looking and examining different systems that will allow us to have better radio quality communications. About 6 years ago, the FCC forced us into what they call narrow banding of our VHF channels, where we had to reduce our bandwidth. And again, with that means that we can't push the wattage or the information through the waves, the airwaves that were all around us. So we're having difficulties communicating. In Northwest Ohio, we and Williams County, Defiance County and Williams County, are going to be on an island very shortly. We already are on that island. Now, Williams County has always been on an island by itself because they operate on the 400 VHF system, where we've always ran on the state law enforcement side of it, the 155 system. But unfortunately, we're being forced into a 800 megahertz system. Some call it the MARC system, some people call it the P25. We're looking at all options on that and going with what is the best and the cheapest for us, that provides us with the proper information gathering. I want to give you an example of this. Paulding County is on the 800 megahertz system, the MARC system. Putnam County is on, Henry County, Fulton County. 74 of the 88 counties in Ohio are on the 800 megahertz system. Soon we will be isolated. We had a homicide in Paulding County, and I say we because they kill them down there and they run to Defiance County, okay, for some reason. All right? So we could not communicate with Paulding County to get accurate information. Law enforcement in Defiance County did a great job of securing the apartment complex of where this individual was at, where we were getting information out of Paulding County that the individual was at. Unfortunately, we were given the wrong name. We were given the wrong person that we were looking for because we couldn't communicate via radio. So the buildings and stuff, the bad guy was in Pontiac Apartments. He left that area without detection. We caught him later that night. And again, in Defiance County, after a lot of police work, good police work by Paulding and us. But we were unable to speak on the radio system. This is one of those times where I can't reiterate the importance of the passage of this letter. It will allow every fire, every probation officer, every EMS squad, every law enforcement officer in Defiance County over the next 3 years for this to be built up and in, to be able to communicate directly with the 911 center and each other and other members of the state of Ohio, which we have to have. Again, thank you for your time. Thank you for listening to us. We would ask that you please vote for our levy, the 911 levy. We really need your assistance in this, and so that we can continue to serve you. Our number one goal and mission is your protection, your safety, and to be there for you. So thank you very much.